What up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hype Mind. Dude, this is
Welcome.
crazy, dude. Look, I look like Jesus. uh anyway, welcome back, guys. I'm Bear. This
Yeah,
is
I'm Daniel.
Daniel, yeah, and we're discussing video games because let me tell you, they're a lot of fun. Everybody plays them, but you know, what's the depth to the matter that you haven't considered? You know, what what's beyond the facade? You know? No, I'm just
It's
messing.
a warning. Warning sign here.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
No, for real, yeah. I mean, it's interesting because
Beware.
they're insane, right?
Who's
And
insane?
video games are, right? Who would have ever thought someone would create a, a virtual reality, right? A reality on a
Right.
of plastic. And of course, as it evolved, it went from, maybe like, geez, I remember playing on the PlayStation 1 with James Bond, and all you could do was like ski down the hill and shoot, and you couldn't even see James Bond because the graphics were so bad. You literally couldn't see anything but the gunfire going off. Um, and now you have video games where like you can you can have like 20 different characters. Each character can have like 20 different accessories. Each accessory can have its own customization. Um, it's just insane. It's
Put goggles
insane.
on.
Yeah.
60-bit.
Well, that too. There's the VR headsets. There's all sorts of stuff, right? So they're entertaining, they're exciting, and they allow you to create to basically create other alternative lifestyles. What would it look like if I lived in the Lord of the Rings, right? And you can play Gandalf, and what would it be like to fight as Gandalf, right? It allows you to put yourself in someone else's shoes or to create a completely different world for yourself to like without affecting your own reality. Well, you are in a different way, but we'll get to that later. Without affecting your own reality, you can basically test other realities. What would it, what could I do if I had $1 million? Geez, I could, drive sports cars all day and race down the highway and escape the cops or something, like it's it's insane.
Right. This might sound, I guess, different than what you're thinking, but I think it's also in a form of expression.
Oh, probably. Oh yeah.
And
Elaborate.
I just think I mean, who 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 plays video games more frequently? Guys or girls?
Definitely, guys.
Definitely guys, right? I think it it hijacks guys' nature, right? The natural desires to create, to challenge, to
Be
accomplish things,
Right.
to just produce and make, and
Yeah.
it's a whole illusion, and it kind of like hijacks that part of you that wants to be ambitious, that wants to achieve goals, and basically puts it in I guess, easier way in a world without consequences.
Yeah.
So it's like a no-brainer that video games would be something that people would get hooked on, people would engage in, people would like, enjoy.
Yeah.
Takes that part of you, that desire you have, and it just makes it easier. You don't have to work, I guess, as hard
Like you said,
or
it's
accomplishes.
it's
Accomplishments.
harmless. You know. Oh, I can't die in it. There's no anytime I want, I can stop playing and go back to real life, right? Which is nonsense. But you can do all those things. You can experience battle, you can fight, you can kill, you can drive fast, you can break rules, you can make tons of money, right? You can do all these. um Gosh, what were the words? Corey, was it Corey or David Data talked about, right? Breaking through boundaries and accomplishing things. I think that was Corey, right? He's like, that's what masculine energy is, right? And you see that, like you're saying, in the video games, you can do all these things and you can experience the reality that you like kind of want to create for yourself. You're a motivated man and you're like, oh, I want to be rich. Oh, I want to, I want to, sorry, wow, my thought just totally derailed. You're like, oh, I want to be
You
rich.
you you want to experience it, or you
I
want
want, I
to
want
do
to
it.
push. Yeah, you
You
want to
want to
break free.
accomplish it in the easiest way possible.
Yeah, and so it gives you
Fake.
that.
It's fake reality. That's it. And
But
you
what do
get
you
to
see a lot of
you
the
get to
time?
play it out that fake. You get to play out that reality that you want in the fake world.
Yeah, with no consequence.
Exactly.
Well,
And
no, so per se, no
right, right,
consequence.
right, right. Well, yeah. What you're getting at is there is consequence. There's a big consequence. People don't realize that. They don't see it. It's not really like in your face consequence, but there's a big consequence there.
Exactly. What do you see as a result of it?
I mean, I see it as obviously useless. It doesn't Nothing's been accomplished with video games. That's it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, very few people are
and
making money.
and because of that, it's like, well, not even that. It's like you're not building anything, you're not doing anything useful. You're
Yeah. Oh, that's
I guess entertain the only way money's made off of it is you're either like off of other people either buying the video game
or
you create or people watching you for entertainment.
right. But
And so
even
does
then,
that make in the end
yeah,
does that make the world a bigger, better, more successful place?
that was just what I was going to say. In the end, even if you're making money off it, all you're doing is providing something for other people to watch. And is that serving them? Not, no, it's not. You know, you're basically, yes, you're accomplishing success on one level because you're making money, but it's like, gosh, this someone's going to shoot me for this comparison, but it's like prostitution, right? You're making money as a prostitute, but you're not doing something morally okay in the process. You know, you might be one of
Mhm.
those video gamers who's making money as a video gamer who shows people the cheat codes or shows people how to play the game or whatever, but you're not serving,
It's not admirable, yeah.
you're not adding to the world exactly. You know, you're not giving anything to the world so it can grow and become better.
Mhm. Honestly, I think you're actually doing the opposite, causing more destruction
Oh my
because
God.
you're just one more person that's adding to the what it's causing is the distraction. And what it's causing is just the wasted time and energy and focus that's going into this. It's like,
Well,
how
exactly.
many hours have men used playing video game like
I'd,
just
I'd like to talk
indulged
too.
in it that could be put somewhere else, that could be put to actual work. Then that's the thing too. It's like, it's taking that desire that you have to create, to produce it, to be challenged, which is a good desire, and it's basically redirecting it into nothingness. Nothing happened. Nothing's been created.
All your energy and plopping you down in front of a fake reality. But when I originally asked that question, I was kind of hoping you would go towards a specific direction, which was, the popular narrative of where do you see men in their 20s and early 30s, and people, you hear it a lot. People like, okay, anywhere from 20, actually even younger, anywhere from like 14, unfortunately. Oh, I got to sneeze. Anywhere from four, there it is.
Bless you.
Anywhere from 14 to like 30 something, you see guys who are single, um, beating off the porn, can't get girlfriends, living in the basement of their parents' house with no cash flow, living off someone else, right? That's
Mhm.
kind of the stereotype. And it's not inaccurate. I mean, granted, that's not everybody who plays video games, but that is a lot of people, and like that's kind of your red flag to be like, where am I going with my life? Like, And I think that's the other thing is, you play video games, yes, because they're fun, but also because you kind of want that for yourself, and like, but instead of playing the video game, you should be playing the game of life and doing that for yourself. You want to drive fast cars, you want to be rich, you want to break rules, um, you want to fight hand to hand combat and
Mhm.
know
Right, actually use that desire.
what
I
it's like to come face to face with death. Yeah, of course you want to feel those desires, and that's why you're playing video games. But do it in
uh
real life.
Right, right. No, but I think what's beautiful is that men feel like they need to express that part of them, which is the part that looks for challenges, that part that looks to make something, produce something, be actually valuable and worth something. And so if you just sit still and do nothing, right, the stress builds up. You need to kind of release that somewhere, right? It's that ambitious part of you to
Well, but
climb for
yeah,
more. And so
that,
and so what happens, and what's happening to a lot of people in society and culture, is that they're taking that desire, instead of putting it into actually something real, it's redirected into something that's not real.
yeah,
And
but
so that desire is there, which is great, but it's not being used,
taking that energy,
being wasted.
even taking that energy, you know, if you have all that energy, that's the energy you're supposed to be using towards accomplishing those things in real life, not towards accomplishing them in a video game. Like, I understand that you have that energy and you want to accomplish these things, but you have that energy to do it in real life, that you'll use it in your real life and completely transform your life and bring it to even higher levels than it was already at. You're not supposed to take that energy and dispel it into video games. Um, and it's interesting because like I've been there. I One of my friends when I was probably 16 gave me a hand me down PS3. Um, and like the PS4 was just about to come out, and he had an extra PS3, and he was like, "Dude, you can just have it." And he gave me a bunch of games, and like, it was crazy because once I started playing, I would waste all day playing. The only thing I didn't do was fail to go to the gym, right? I That was like, I knew if I skipped the gym because of a video game, then I was in trouble, right? So I never let myself skip the gym. Um, but most people don't do that, for one, and two, the 2 hours I was at the gym didn't even hail in comparison to like the 6 to 10 hours a day I would play video games for. When I was not working, I didn't skip work or anything, but in my time off, I would just come home and play video games until like 1 in the morning, until I couldn't stay awake, or until I was like, dude, you need to go to bed or you're not going to function at work.
Right. Well, that's the
Uh,
thing, 'cause I don't blame you in that situation. I absolutely understand what that's like. And I mean, absolutely
oh,
understand what
yeah,
other guys
maybe-
experience too, because it just hijacks your brain. It says, this is basically, it's like validate. I guess it's like validation. It's like you can get this,
but
you
I
can
don't
get
think
the
it's,
taste of
I
success
think,
and accomplishments like super easily, and it's gonna stimulate your brain, hijack your brain. And so it's only natural to want that.
I don't think it's validation though. I think it's the dopamine, the adrenaline, stuff like that. Because I want to say my favorite game was Skyrim, and anybody who's familiar with most video games has probably played Skyrim. It's probably one of the best, right? But a lot of times in Skyrim, what you did was hand to hand combat with weapons, right? Maybe that's basically there was no distance between you, and you, versus like a game where you were, in a battlefield with guns and teams or something, if you got shot by a bullet, you were dead, or two bullets, you were dead. In Skyrim, you were hoping that your weapon was better than the other person's weapon. You were, hacking away at them while they were hacking away at you, and you were wondering, did they have the right armor? Did you have the right armor? Were you fit to challenge this person? Were you stronger than them? You're watching your life decrease or their life decrease. Sometimes it's such an even trade off that you're like on the edge of your seat. you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. When was the last time I saved the game? I'm gonna lose everything I did. Um, and the intensity was there.
Yep, they make it. I mean, that's how they make it, to get your attention, to keep your attention, so you keep playing. So you buy the
Yeah.
next one that comes out. I mean, in the end, it's a business too,
Well, and that's yeah. Yeah.
but um, it's doing worse for the world uh, than it's doing any good, and I don't think it's doing much good at all, or none at all.
Yeah.
And, and it's just so easy to fall into getting hooked on playing video games, because it's just
Oh, it's
it's
addicting.
it's
It
so
gives
it's
you
exactly it's addicting. And what was I going to say? I think I think this is one of those things where it's like, it's just it's like rewarding you you're rewarding yourself for the wrong things.
yeah. So you know what
So you
is
you have you have it's fun to do, it feels good, but that's not what you should be, or that's not creating anything. So you shouldn't be necessarily rewarded for things, but you are, or rewarded for it.
that's that's also Western society on a whole. You get rewarded for doing nothing. You get paid for delivering
Mm.
packages to
You
your
get paid
door.
for getting out of the way, or not
Yeah.
being in the way. Yeah.
You get paid for waking up. I mean,
Right. Because they
you
don't
get
want
paid
you in the
for
way.
movies that people would have broken their back for money for in the past. But that's a different topic because then again, the money you're getting paid for isn't worth anything anyway. So,
Hmm.
um,
So I got a question for you. I want to see what you think. So what about someone who plays video games on the occasion? What do you
I
think?
mean, I think like anything, it ultimately it's a waste of time all around. Um, that doesn't bring anything good to your life, other than pleasure, maybe. But like anything, it can be done in moderation. Like I don't think you really could argue you need to drink, right? But it's okay to drink socially every now and then. You go to a wedding, you have a couple glasses of wine, right? Or um, every now and then you smoke a stogie with the boys or something, or whatever, right? So anything in moderation is fine. But there's the other thing you have to consider.
Is there so
Uh,
many other things to do?
well, there are exactly, and the thing is, what's important to you, you know, because actually, who says this is Andrew Tate. He goes, someone else is outperforming you, right? You can reckon it's okay for you to take a break, but there's someone else who's willing to give up that break to do better. So, if you want to be the best at something, then you don't get breaks. If you want to be the best at something, you don't get to play video games. If you want to be the best at something, you might not even get to drink because you might need to be so focused on what you're doing, right? So, and maybe it's not about that to you. Maybe it's not about being the best. But if you really want to compete, if you really want to be the top performer, then pleasure doesn't really exist. You have to make you have to establish. I would say in that circumstance, you have to establish your own happiness and peace of mind by simply being open to the way you live, no matter you know uh, how much effort it requires, how much nonstop motion it requires, and you just are okay with it. You keep doing it. So, yeah, if moderation with video games is fine, but there's a sacrifice there. Someone else is going to outperform you. Someone's going to be making money while you're playing video games. Someone else, someone else is going to be picking up the girl that you want to marry because you're like, whatever your end goal is in life, someone else is getting there
It's not going to get
faster.
you there.
But yes, exactly. You're taking a break, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with taking breaks, but The more breaks you take, the longer it takes to get to your destination.
And there's also better breaks you can take.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be video games. There's more, I guess, there's more,
There's great ways to take breaks, like
better breaks you can take that are more restful and rejuvenative and
working out. As silly as that sounds, as counterintuitive as that sounds, working out is a great break for me from the daily grind of
a mental
working.
break.
Yeah, exactly. It's a mental break. Even though it's not physically a break, it's a different style of break. I think we talked about that in the past. But anyway,
Must have,
yeah, there
must
you
have,
have it.
must have.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, okay. I want to finish with this too. Actually, I think you find this interesting. What do what do you do as a parent if you?
I'd say no.
Do you mean no?
I would almost
No, I'm talking about raising your kids, and
uh,
let's say
use
your sons are
video
getting
games.
into video games.
Yeah. I mean, as a parent, I wouldn't be inclined to overindulge in anything on a screen. Um, TV, video games, any of that stuff. you know? And I'd be inclined to be like, okay, if you want to play video games, you need to spend 20 minutes reading to get 10 minutes of video games or something like that, right? Because stuff adds up so fast. It's like people are like, I don't have, actually, church is a great example of this. Man, I use that a lot. People will be like, oh, I don't have time to go to church. 1 hour a week, 160 something hours in a week, 68 hours in a
28 or
week, 100.
something.
Yeah. You don't
There's
have 1 hour for church,
like,
but you have 1 hour a day to go to video games? Bullshit. Like, get a life. Um, and so, like, if I was a parent, I would let my child experience it. I'd be like, hey, here's a console. Try it out. Have a little fun. Play video games all you want this week. You're never gonna see them again. Well, maybe not like that harsh, but I'd
hey,
be
that's
like,
actually
here's
that's
video games. Play them all you want. Play your sick this week.
that's what I think could be very important or very
That's it. You're not playing video games unless you earn the video games. You
right.
know, there's more important things to earn, like money or friends or whatever, respect. I don't know,
Hmm.
something that accomplishing.
Right, right. I mean, in the end of the day, are they gonna listen to that? How do you influence the most? I mean, it.
Well, you
I've just seen parents out there who just struggle with like they don't want their child playing video games, but they don't either don't know how to take it away or um it's gone so far down a path where they just like they're even upset about it. They see the waste of time it is. They see how destructive it is to them
yeah.
or their
If you
kids, where it's like
remove video games from your
torture.
child, then you have bigger problems than video games.
Say that again.
If you can't remove video games from your child's life like that, then you have bigger problems than video games. Then you have respect issues. So you need to go back to the parenting blackboard and figure out how to earn respect from your child.
Hmm. Hmm.
If,
Right.
if you, I mean, like, and that's one reason I would let my child do stuff like that is because I'd be like, look, get a taste for it, because my parents were like, you're not allowed to touch drugs, you can't smoke anything, you can't smoke cigarettes, you can't smoke weed. Guess what I did? I hung out with my friends and smoked cigarettes or drank under like whatever, like that's what you do. They tell you what not to do. So I'd be
Right.
like, look,
Exactly.
I'd be like, look,
There's no way of just keeping your children from everything. Like they're going to have access to it
if
in
you're video
some way or
game,
the other, and you know, later either now or later on in life. And of course, you can't control that, but you can control the rules that you have in your house, obviously, and
just gonna
you can educate,
there's
right?
things you can control. And yes, you do educate too. But
Educate and
if I
be
did to drink, I'd be like, look, I can't stop you from drinking, but you can't drink on my property, you know? Or I'd be like, I can't stop you from drinking, but I can tell you, be careful because, here's the story from my childhood when someone, almost died. Like I'd be like, look, I know you're gonna do this. I understand that you're gonna want to try things. Here's the video games. Play them for a week. From after this, You either have to earn them or play them at someone else's house because you're not doing it here. You have better things to focus on in life. I don't know, stuff like that. I mean,
Expose and educate them a little bit, and then you say, "Hey, it's time to get rid of them."
that's a good word.
I'd say, "Hey, I need to expose you to this because sooner or later you're going to be exposed to this. So I want you to see this now. I'm going to, show you how addictive this can be, right? Um,
Silence the
Here, play like you said, play it for a week or play it for a month, and then make
yeah,
an agreement in the beginning. At the end, I want you to take that video game and I want you to smash it, just so they have control.
that'd be fun.
I think that would be a fun project
I
to
have
do with
to
your
though.
kids.
But no, the last thought I would share is um before I moved to Alaska, I was packing up my old residence and I had my console and I had spent a lot of time using it. And I thought to myself, if I take this to Alaska, this will be such a distraction. I'll probably not do well in school because I was going to Alaska. I was going to go to um, this tech school. Um, I was like, I'm not going to do well at all my new quals. I'm not going to do well at. I was like, this is going to be an unnecessary distraction. And even in school, I saw a lot of people in my class would play video games, and they would spend a little bit of time studying, and then they'd spend the rest of the evening playing video games. And they wouldn't want to go to the gym. They wouldn't want to go outside and play basketball or
Right,
football.
because they used up all that natural
Yeah,
desire to do those things.
yeah. And so they didn't do anything productive. And meanwhile, especially now, more than ever now, I look at my life right now and I think I'm so busy doing productive things. I can't even imagine what I wouldn't get doing productive things where I still don't have enough time to do things. I can't even imagine what my life would look like if I also added video games. I wouldn't get anything done at all. And to be honest, I don't even think I got that much done in the past when I did them. It's like I think I came home from work, did my work day, was half asleep because I'd gone to bed too late, did my workout, and went back to video games. Or went biking or hung out with friends every now and then, but like it was just a big time filler. So,
Oh
but
yeah,
anyway, yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. I to
Mhm,
summarize, you got better ways to spend your time, and
mhm.
you have to understand that this is a channel for energy. You have to make sure you're channeling it into the right source, i.e., not the video games, but into what you want to become, right? A lot of times the video games show you what you want to become. Oh, you like playing stuff like GTA 5 where you're rich and driving sports cars. That's because that's what you want to experience in your real life. Go get rich and buy a sports car and drive fast as hell and race and become a race car track driver. I don't care. Like do it in real life. So
Yeah. And then one more thing I want to add too is that, it's the world might tell you different, the culture might tell you different, but it's okay to say, "Hey, no, no video games in my life. No video games in my kid's life. It's
yeah,
not good. It's not going to help them." And just be real
yeah, exactly. Be real.
and see it. Hey, you can see it as an evil.
Yeah.
This is not producing anything. This is not creating anything. This does no good.
If it doesn't produce any good for the world, then it's not good for the world. Even if it doesn't look bad, a lot of times that's how the biggest evils are masked, is they look harmless. You can't see any good to them, but you also can't see any bad to them. You think they're harmless.
The Trojan horse.
Yep. And if it looks harmless, it's probably not harmless. Anyway, peace.
Peace.